Hello, welcome in. Get out the cold. Remember, shoes off at the front door. Get some snacks and come take a seat. And join us here in the Music Shack with both
Ray
and Jack. So we're back after taking. Well, we didn't take a break last week. We didn't do a podcast, but we did a reaction to the 1989 TV announcement. On our YouTube. It's a YouTube exclusive. So before we start, any listeners from any podcast platforms, if you want to go check that out, it is on YouTube. It would mean the world if you could check it out and just to get to see our kind of reactions to the whole 1989 TV stuff, because we're not really going to be talking about it today, just because there is other stuff that we want to get mentioned, but we're really excited for it, and as more things come out about it, we'll definitely be talking about it here. Maybe we'll track reactions, we'll maybe do that in the future, but there is a couple things, kind of mix the artists as well, so we'll get into it. I'm going to let Ray do the talking this week, because I've been kind of out of it all, but Ray's been busy with it.
I've been busy with life and everything, but just to say about the 1989 TV announcement, we're not going to talk about it extensively in this podcast. We might mention it slightly briefly at the end. One of the topics we have is kind of related to it, but go watch the video if you want to see our reaction to that, but also listen to this podcast. Don't click off and then forget about the podcast, and then don't watch the podcast. Do both. Yeah. Don't be that person. You can listen to both at the same time. So true. Do that. We did have some new music released this week. We didn't do a podcast last week either, so but on Friday we had a release from Olivia Rodrigo for a new single from her album Guts, Bad Idea, right? Which I think has received mixed reviews online. I've seen stuff about people being like, oh my god, there's too much talking. I don't like this song. And I'm like, the second I heard it, I was obsessed. Maybe it's because I am a late 90s kid, which means I watched 2000s rom-coms growing up as a little girl who was just dying to be in love with someone, listening to Taylor Swift, literally the definition of foolish one, and watching 2000s rom-coms, and this song is the definition of that. If you watched any of those movies or anything, you know that this song is the definition of that, that time, and that's why I love it. And I just instantly fell in love with it. And I guess maybe for some reason, it's not what you're used to, because it's a different vibe, but you could think, oh my god, there's too much talking or whatever, but that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it repeatable. Come on, it's gonna be so much fun live. I absolutely love it. I don't know, what do you think, Jack?
Yeah, I'm obsessed with it. I've definitely spoke about talking in songs before with Baby Queen and stuff. I don't know why, I just love it so much. I think it adds it's sort of like a breather within the song. You've got the music and you've got the lyrics and stuff, but it's just it just adds another kind of layer to it. And I'm obsessed with the music video.
Oh my god, yes.
Style of it, just the graphic at the end where the boy burns and lights on fire, and just the sparks. I don't know why, it's so cool. It's such a cool aesthetic. You know what? Artists are allowed to have fun on songs, and it's this is pretty much what she's done here. I love it. I see, when I first listened to it, I was unsure. So I listened to it in the car coming home from work, and I was like, I like it, but I was unsure about the replayability of it from one listen, and but I think it was just mainly because it's really loud, right? It's really with the grain as well. It is there is a lot of different layers to it, but see, I think on the same day I went somewhere else and I had it on repeat. My brain instantly was yeah, this is I could listen to this all day.
I had it on in the car. I feel like it was perfect for driving. It's probably a really good walking song too. Just in general, I think it is repeatable. But I can totally get maybe not feeling that on the first listen, especially if it's not the kind of vibe of song that you're used to. I think people just need to give songs a chance, genuinely.
You might like it. 100%. It's completely different to like what Olivia has kind of released in the past, but from Vampire to this, like it's just really exciting to see what we're getting this
we
album.
might get on the album. I know, and the album comes out soon.
I know.
We will do a deep dive like we do with other albums, and it'll be so much fun. You said that we found out how long the album was going to be. What did you say again?
So Concert Leaks just tweeted out saying 39 minutes long.
39 minutes long.
Yeah.
So 39 minutes. It's a shorter album. It's kind of expected based on the track length, like the track list length, to be honest. But a shorter album, but it'll still be fun. I mean, it's longer than Sour, so that's good.
By 5 minutes. That is, we're really cutting it close. But at least now she has like enough set list songs to like make up a full concert. Like
I think, I don't know, like will Olivia play arenas next tour? Probably.
Yeah. Probably. At least like I feel like everywhere. I don't. She played smaller venues, and that was still like, it was like impossible to get tickets. And I think again the only reason she played smaller venues is just to get an idea of numbers. She was already huge from Driver's License.
I don't know why she played smaller venues, but I mean I can also guess like wanting that experience as an artist. Like it's probably hard to just jump into playing arenas right away versus like starting from like a tiny venue like most artists do. Like that's an experience to have and to grow. And so Olivia has been doing a bunch of events around the world, I guess, for promoting her new album with fans, some fan events. Olivia's always been great at like doing those promos with fans. Like they sent like the fans like the Sour Patch Kids and stuff last time, and they had like the Spotify thing. They did the thing with the Guts track with like sending people letters in the merch. So I was good with that. But then they do like their fan events promoting the album, essentially, getting fans excited. So they had a fan event in London, which was today, the day we are recording this, which is Tuesday, which was fun. A bunch of big Olivia Rodrigo fans got to meet her, and that's always like a really fun thing that artists can do for their fans. Yeah, it's great. I just think it could have been organized a little bit better. And I think some people on Twitter should be less jealous, because if you see someone meeting your favorite artist, your probably your gut reaction is, I wish that was me. Yeah. That is true. But you should also think, I'm happy for them, because the more you complain and make like it a competition, the less the artist is going to want to do these kinds of things. And because they'll think that it's like separating their fan base, yada, yada, yada. We saw like during Secret Sessions time with Taylor, like it was like, it's a thing. Like people got upset.
Oh yeah, like
when
people
they
have
weren't
lost
chosen.
Like friendships and stuff over it. Like it's
yeah.
crazy.
It's crazy. Like, I'm just, like, kind of going on a tangent about this right now, because I saw a few tweets on my timeline of people being like, how dare this person get it and not me? And it's like, at the end of the day, they were selected. They had a really good experience. They got to see one of their favorite artists. And you should be happy for them, because, like Taylor Swift said, karma is my boyfriend. And if you are nice to them, one day you will get that opportunity too. That is how it works. And whatever you think, like, I don't think that it's just not, like, worth being mean on the internet about it. It just sucks, because whatever you think the artist sees or doesn't see, they might see it. And if they see you being mean to people that they met, they're not going to want to meet people anymore because of that. And I just really hate it.
Yeah, valid. I feel like we've definitely seen artists, we know how much artists see, like as much as they might not interact with stuff they see, we know how much artists see from their fans. Like we've been through this with Maisie. Like Maisie sees so much, and especially stuff when you're like tweeting out this stuff, and you know how rubbish that makes them feel. Like all they're trying to do is, like at the end of the day, that these are events and stuff put on by marketing teams. Olivia's team is insane. Like their whole marketing thing throughout Sour was like sick, with the car wash and like the posters, and then even just the stuff they do with like the hotline. Like there's so many. They're actually crazy. Like what they're doing is is very like much a big reason to why Olivia is as popular as Olivia is, as much as like obviously combined with her talent. Like this isn't Olivia's, like as much as it depends obviously what they can actually get done, but artists don't want to like take big fans but then not other big fans. Like it's just, there's only one way of doing it like this. The only way of doing it that is fair is like by this like randomized system, and then maybe handpicking a couple like big fan accounts or anything like that to go to these events. So I mean, like an email sign up is like fair.
It's fair. And for a meet and greet, like you don't have to worry about like I think the shitty thing is like when you do email sign up and things for things like a signed vinyl or something like that, you're encouraging a lot of scalpers to sign up, and then they'll get it and then they'll resell it. And when it's like a one of a kind thing, and it's like, that sucks. But when it's a meet and greet, like you're not a fan of Olivia, you're not going to sign up because that's weird.
Yeah, can you imagine winning and just be like, oh yeah, why did I do this?
But yeah, I think the email sign up is at the end of the day the most fair way to do it. And obviously there are going to be bad actors in there, like people who just want to do it for their TikTok clout or something. But there's not really any way to tell. And then, but also inviting those like big accounts online, it's good because you know those people are fans, and like, but you're still including everyone by having the email sign up as well. And the point of this conversation is that there were some things that Olivia's team could have done better. The people signed up and the notice was given the night before, and then some people were also told the day of the event. Some people up to 3 hours before the event. Granted, this is an 18 plus event. If you're told at 7 p.m. the night before that you need to be somewhere at 3 the next day, you have to get time off work for that. And it's hard. And I think, and people also were like traveling, like might have been traveling from other cities. And I think that also has something to play. You have to think about that because like, I think Livy's team is probably like, Livy's HQ is probably like mostly American. I would say probably all American. And I think they don't necessarily understand how it works in the UK. For us, a 3-hour drive is like San Francisco to LA. And if you lived in San Francisco, you wouldn't sign up for an event in LA. If you knew that the notice was going to be the day before, if it was like 2 weeks notice, but you just probably wouldn't. You wouldn't travel because like it's just too far. But like you can travel between states in 3 hours in the US because of the highways. But like the cities are so scattered in the US that like you're only going to apply for something if you're really in that city. But the thing with the UK is like it's such a small country. It's like the size of one state in the US. So like everybody is going to apply from the whole country, and London is so accessible. You don't like need a car to get there, that like everyone from the whole country probably applied, and then they find out the night before, and then the trains are booked, or they can't get time off work, or this or that. And it's like, it's not hard to give people 1 week notice. Like it's really not that hard. And it could have been done. They just had to put the sign up thing up, and then they just had to close it earlier. Like that's literally it. Like it's not, they don't need to be sending out invites the day before. And then if people reply saying, oh, sorry, I can't make it, then they have enough time to invite other people, right? Instead of letting those spots free. Because, so like, yeah, I saw on Twitter, some people were notified 3 hours before the event. And they were, I think the person that I saw on Twitter who was notified 3 hours before the event had other tweets with like screenshots of like Livy's HQ DMing them asking for their name and email and stuff. So they're probably invited through Twitter, getting invited 3 hours before, and they were complaining like, I live more than 3 hours from London, so I can't, like, I just can't go. And it's like, if you're invited somewhere 3 hours before, like, I don't know, it's just tough. Like, you can't make changes like that in your life like that soon. I have experience with this when I saw Bear in Toronto. She did a VIP event, and it was invite only. And she picked 4 or 5 fans, and we did a cake decorating class with her. It was like one of the best experiences of my life. And I got selected for that, and I was told the day before. The difference is that it was the day of her concert in Toronto. So if you know that you're going to a concert in a city the day before, you already have arranged plans to get to that city if you don't live in that city. So you don't have to worry about that. I was planning on working the day because it was like a 200-person venue. Nobody queues for that kind of, like, for that kind of size of a gig. Nobody really queues longer than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So I didn't take the day off. I was planning on working. And it was a, 2-hour event, and it was during lunch. So I literally just said, I have an unexpected appointment, and I went. And then I worked extra hours. Like, it was fine. But I'm lucky enough that, like, it was close to it was close enough to, like, where I work. It was close enough to the venue. And, like, that was a lucky situation. But if I was, like, planning to drive in that day, it would kind of suck to know the day before. But I could probably adjust it because I was already planning to come to the show. So I don't know. I just think, like, more thought needs to go into it, or they could have done an event in London and then done another one in like a more northern place, so that, like, people from the whole country could get an opportunity, because of the way they organized it, only people who live near London got an opportunity to go, which sucks.
This happens all the time. Like, artists from the US, they only think London exists, and it is so annoying. Because, like, I'm in a lucky place where, like, I have accessibility to get to, like, even to get to a train station to then get to London. It is, like, 5 hours away. But, like, so I signed up for it, and I was planning, and I was working today, so the Tuesday, the day of it. But I was like, if I get through, then maybe I can get it sorted. Most likely I probably wouldn't have, but, like, at least I've built up that thing in work where I've been there long enough. Then I do things for other people, so it would possibly be a thing. But, like, that was when we were gonna. So they originally had it, so it was gonna close on Sunday at 23:59. So, like, at midnight, just before it clocked over to the Monday, and then the invites would probably go out on Monday, like, early, or at least, like, during the day. But then they changed the time to, like, Monday midday, to, like, when they were going to close it. So they closed it then, and then I think maybe a couple people, or, like, whoever got invited through emails, maybe got their emails, like, last night. And that is, like, yeah, it's, like, not, it is
It's
enough
still
time
not
to
enough
plan
time.
something. But, like, if you don't have, like, trains to, like, from, like, say from, like, Scotland to London, like, the day of, the train's probably fully booked. So it's, like, or even the night before, it's fully booked. So it's, like, and imagine being that close to meeting one of your favorite artists and then missing out. Like, I know I would have been, like, fully distraught if that was the case. Like, if I got accepted, because I've never met an artist. Like, I've never met one of my favorite artists ever. Like, I've never had the opportunity. I'm not big on, like, fan, like, Twitter or anything like that. Like, I'm very, like, much a fan that loves and, like, supports artists and does whatever I can to support them, but it's not really vocal about it. I just do it. And that's, like,
and that's okay. Like, that's totally valid. Like, I feel like people are like, oh, you're not a big account on Twitter, or you don't have, like, this or that, you can't, you don't deserve it as much as me. And it's like, you don't actually know how long someone has been listening to an artist, or what just because they don't, like, tweet about it every day. I don't know. Like, I tweet about it every day because I'm crazy, but, like, you can recognize that other people are not.
No, but, like, I think it's, like, it's more annoying because, obviously, as, like, being a Swiftie since, like, what, like, Speak Now, like, Fearless era, like, I've been, and there's so many people that are the same, that have been, like, fans from that age, and there's probably no chance that we'll ever get invited to a secret session because we're not vocal as much about our support and stuff, and that's fine. Like, that's something we've always kind of known, but, like, that's why the emails is such a good way of doing it, because people that aren't so vocal about it have a chance. But then, can you imagine finally getting to meet someone that you're such a fan of, like, you've supported from the beginning or whenever, and then not being able to make it because they sent out the emails, like, 3 hours before, or, like, the night before. Like, it would be horrible. Like, I don't know who the first person I'd meet, but, like, say, like, Olivia would be the first person I'd ever get to meet, and then maybe the last. Like, and if I didn't get to make that opportunity happen, then I'd be so, like, not annoyed, I'd be sad. Like, I'd just be sitting there, like, okay, well, what's the the point. Like, I don't
No,
know.
it sucks.
So it is like, I
It
do feel
sucks so
bad for
much.
people that can't go, but it happens all the time. Like, London's such a, yeah, it's a central point for pretty much most of the UK, but one, it's expensive to like get a night there. So if you can't come back the same day, it's expensive. Like, not everywhere
Yeah.
is like it's such accessible. Like, traveling is like, say, Scotland to like to London. It's not, everywhere's not the same. Like, it's not as accessible. When US artists
Yeah.
come over, they just think it's London, and it is the most frustrating thing ever. Not saying you have to come to Scotland.
I mean,
I don't care. Just
I
do
I
whatever.
would
I just think it's hard.
it sucks. I would say that it's not necessarily better in the US, right? Because like when Olivia came for tour, she came to a bunch of places in the UK,
Yeah.
not just London, and like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's the same in the US. She went to a bunch of places, not just New York and LA, but when she does events, she does them in New York and LA. She doesn't do them anywhere else. So if you live in like Ohio, you
Yeah.
both places are like a 5-hour flight for you. Like, you have no chance of meeting Olivia because she's never going to do an event in Ohio, and she'll come there for a concert, but she
But
won't.
she's
So
not. Yeah.
it's not, but she won't do an event there. And so it, I would say is to the UK fans, like as an American, is like, you think that Americans get everything, but
Yeah.
like,
Okay. Yeah. I see this argument. Yeah.
but like, if you live in New York and LA, you get everything. Not
Yeah.
if you live in America, you get everything, because technically majority of Americans are more displaced than majority of the UK people, because if you live in, like you do in Edinburgh, you still have a chance
Yeah.
to get to London the day before, or like, and like you don't have to pay for a flight or anything. You can get there by train. I'm not saying that it's not a shitty thing for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that because they are Americans, like, if I lived, for me, living in Toronto, if there's a Olivia event in New York, I probably wouldn't sign up for it because I know that I'm not going to go there, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just too hard for me to get there. And especially like seeing when it closed and then when the event is,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely wouldn't. Probably the only artist I'd go to New York for is Maisie. And like if she did a fan event there. I mean, she has done multiple fan events there, and just like the timing hasn't worked out for me. I just think like I live in the biggest city in Canada, and yet I get like nothing, right? Like there's
Yeah.
nothing that happens here. It's always in New York and LA. And like there's people who live in like freaking like Austin, Texas, which is like one of the biggest cities in America, and they don't get anything either. And like they can't go anywhere because it's like 10 times as far away. So I think the reason that they did it that way is because in America you just don't sign up for that stuff if you don't live close. But
Yeah.
because of the transport system in the UK being so much more like accessible than in America, and not everything is car reliant or whatever, more people sign up for things thinking, oh, I can get to London pretty easily. And then you're not given enough notice to just like even arrange that. The argument of like London being the only place they consider is like not true. It's like not really valid. I think that because they didn't understand the way UK is, and like how everyone would apply for the email even if they don't live in London, they unfortunately made people miss out on something that thought they had an opportunity to get it.
No, like I fully agree with, because there is that constant conversation and like whatever about how like the US gets everything, and it is like very, when people say the US get everything, they need to realize that it is like, it isn't all the US. It's like, it's literally like what happens here as well. Like, it is just like it's London, but then for them it's like LA and New York, like because it is
Yeah.
the same thing. Like, it's because I see that argument a lot, and it's more left like, it is more with like events and stuff, not like concerts, but it is more with events. People will be like, oh, will the US get like, and everything, like, yeah, but like same way, if like an artist is from the UK is going to get more things from that artist as well.
Yeah, just like Maisie. Like
Yeah.
Maisie does so much stuff in the UK, more than she does in America, and Americans complain like, why don't we get this? And it's like, because she doesn't she's not from there, and she does a lot for America. Like, compared to every other country in the world, Americans get the second most amount of stuff. So stop complaining.
Like, you're never going to be happy, like, with whatever you get. Like, it is sad when these things happen, but, and again, like, London is a good central point for everywhere. It's just really rubbish how they dealt with it, because I do feel bad for the people that got told last night or this morning and couldn't make it, because it is soul destroying.
No, it's just awful, and I can't imagine, and I hope that this is just a lesson for them for next time, and they do better. I think that's it. We kind of went on a little bit of a rant, but that's it for that. We're going to move on. I went to see Maisie in the Good Witch tour on Monday. It was the best event ever. I had literally the best time. I was barricade, queued since the morning, saw so many of my friends, literally oomph-chella at Maisie. It was so much fun, and the Good Witch tour set list is incredible. So if you're going to see her anywhere in the world, that she's going literally everywhere. Like, she's doing like so many places in Europe and UK and Australia, and you should go if you are able. I highly recommend it. It was really, really good. I think it's interesting to see. I mean, Maisie's first show in Toronto was in 2019, and then she played at the Actors Club in 2022, and then she played at Phoenix Concert Theater in 2022 again. So she played in March or February? March? No, it was February. I don't know. It was one of those months. In Axis, and then she played in Phoenix in November, and then 2023 August she played at History, which is crazy that she's gone from literally a 400 person venue in 2019 in Toronto to a 2,500 person venue. Literally, like, that is insane. I cannot imagine that. And like, she was just so emotional, and she was like talking about how like she recognizes familiar faces in the crowd, and I've been at all the shows, and it's like, she's talking about me, and then she's like, oh, I've seen you guys grow up and graduate, and I'm like, she's talking about me because I graduate, she's talking about me. Anyway, it made me sad. And it's just the best time. But the point was, I think it's really interesting for me to say that being at all these shows, I have seen different people at Barricade every single time, barring a few people who know who they are, who are there every time at Barricade in Toronto. I love her so much, and her music means so much to me, and I have so much to thank. Like, and just like everything, like for me, like she's the only artist I would queue for, because I love her music, and otherwise I can't, because I can't take a day off work every time I want to go to a concert. Like,
you'd never be at work.
I know. Like, for Maisie, it's always worth it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that the point is that every single time there's different people. And I've noticed that the people get more and more younger. There's younger people each time. There was these girls who showed up at 8 a.m. and they were like 14 or something. And I was like, why is your parents letting you queue at 8 a.m.? Like,
yeah,
huh? Okay. But okay. You do you, bestie. And then it was like, it's crazy. Like, I think it's just TikTok fame or like whatever. And Maisie and like Ed opening, and she's just so much bigger now. And I don't think any of that, like, I knew it, but it didn't really hit me until last night, because we saw her at a similar size venue in the UK, but in my head I was like, this is the UK. Like, you know, Maisie's bigger in the UK. It's her home. And in last night, it was like, this is Canada. Like, this is my home city. When I was in university and I was listening to Maisie every day, nobody knew who she was, and she was just like my thing, and I just loved her, and that was okay. And now I'm here, and I'm no longer in university, and 14-year-olds are obsessed with Maisie Peters. And I'm like, help me God. I am 23 years old and way too old for this shit. But something really special to me that happened at the show was during the VIP set. Maisie did 4 songs. She did Volcano, which was really important. It was really important to me. It's a song, like, I went through some shit. I lost some friends and, got ghosted, which is what Volcano is about, by someone who's no longer my friend. And they didn't stand up for me when I needed them. And that, to me, that song was like the perfect thing I needed in that moment. And I just listened to it and repeat, like, All or Nothing, You Said Nothing, Pull the Parachute, and the ground came rushing. And, like, literally, like, that song was my coping song, so I just started crying when she started singing it, because it was like, how, why now, why this, why me, help me, like, you got away with it, and you have no consequences for your actions. Ugh, that song is so perfect. Anyway, and then she played Outdoor Pool, which is just like a running joke now, because every single time she's come to Toronto, since Outdoor Pool got released, she's played Outdoor Pool even when it hasn't been on the set list. So, like, it's hilarious, because Outdoor Pool was on the set list during the You Sign Up for This tour. And then she didn't have it in the set list for the first 2 shows for the I'm Telling the Whole of America tour, but in Toronto she played it in the VIP set. And then last night she played it in the VIP set. And again, and we were just like, you played this last time. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. And we were like, no, we love it. Like, we're just joking. And then she played Hard Feelings by Lorde. And
oh my gosh.
Maisie has been playing Hard Feelings by Lorde every night, and she talked about how when Hard Feelings came out, she was 17, and she listened to Hard Feelings, and she just thought, this album is beautiful. And Lorde wrote it when Lorde was 19, and Maisie was just saying, like, when I was 17 and I listened to Melodrama, all I wanted was to be, like, that's what I wanted to be. Like, I wanted to be 19 and I wanted to feel those feelings. I wanted to be 19 and on fire. And I was 17 when Melodrama came out. And Maisie is 6 months younger than me. So, like, we're close in age, I guess, right? She's a 2000 baby and I'm a 99 baby, but she's born early, I'm born late, so it adds up.
Everybody's just old.
I'm Maisie Peters' age, but no, like, yeah, she was just like, yeah, like, it was crazy. She was like, I don't know. She was just like talking about how she wanted to be 19, and when I listened to Melodrama, I remember sitting on my bedroom floor for the first time, like, literally waiting for Melodrama to come out because I was so excited, and sitting on my bedroom floor and listening to Melodrama for the first time with my eyes closed and just feeling the music and thinking almost the exact same thing Maisie said. And, like, I want to be 19 and I want to feel those feelings. And now I am 23 and I have felt all of those feelings. And that is crazy to me. And I have felt feelings that are on freaking, like, and Maisie was like, when she was writing The Good Witch, she thought about Melodrama because that was Lorde's second album. And she was like, to me, like, this is what I want to do. And that was what she was thinking about when she wrote The Good Witch. And it feels like, obviously she was older than 19 by a few years when she wrote it, but it feels like she achieved that. Like, I think The Good Witch is Maisie's Melodrama, 100%. And that's really special and exciting. And it makes me excited for her, I think, and for her future. And it just made me feel really connected to her in that moment. and yeah, I wanted to share it because I wanted to.
No, that is really sweet.
And then I also, if you're watching the YouTube video, you get something special. And if you're not watching the YouTube video, you get to go to the YouTube video and see something special. But I got the set list, which I am now displaying in my camera. And it's Maisie's set list. So over here, it says Maisie star. And then it has this big arrow on it. I don't know why, but it does. This is where the stage exit is, I think. That's why it has a big arrow. It's telling her where to go when she's done.
Well, she just went the wrong way. That'd be so awkward.
But yeah, I mean, if you don't want set list spoilers for the tour, I'm totally, like, ruining it for you, but whatever. But yeah, the set list was so good. A lot of the songs on The Good Witch go so hard live. Like, watch. Oh my god, incredible. History of Man. Was so beautiful live, too. There It Goes was, oh my god. Literally screaming, the universe is shifting, and it's all for me. It was, like, what I needed in my life. I feel special. I also love how everyone was trading friendship bracelets in the queue. The queue was very wholesome. Maisie Toronto shows are always so wholesome, and I absolutely love them. But I think the main takeaway, like, just of, like, an annoying aspect of the show was, like, me and my friend were there, and we were, like, big Maisie fans, and, like, we don't queue for concerts, like, we other than Maisie, because we're Maisie fans, and we are, like, we go to other concerts, but, like, maybe queue for a bit, but not long. And there's some people in the line who are like, yeah, well, I've been at this venue, like, 7 times, and last week I was here, and I got here at 8 a.m., and I'm like, they never do this way, and I'm like, you do realize that, like, not everything is, like, or, like, like, I don't know. It's just insane. And I'm like, so these people are just, like, concert goers. Like, they might be Maisie fans, but they're mostly just concert goers, which, like, is great. And, like, some of them weren't at any of Maisie's past shows, which doesn't make them less valid. It's just, like, okay, and, like, it's just, like, okay. It's just funny. It's just hilarious.
There's such a competition about it now. Like,
it's just, it sucks that, like, it is a competition, because it's like, I want to be at the front, not because I want a picture. It's because Maisie's my favorite artist, and that means a lot to me. And, you know, if I know I'll never be at the front for Taylor because I'm not made of money and I'm not made of time. So that's okay. I know that's, like, being in the bleachers is, like, fine for me. It's better that way. Like, I'm going to have a better experience, but this is different. Like, if I ever have to camp overnight for Maisie, I'm not going to do it. Just saying. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, the earliest I'll show up is morning. Like, I'm not going to show up the night before. And this is a little bit of a segue. So 5 Seconds of Summer are touring in America right now. And this was a topic of discussion in the queue last night. So I learned something, and I did some field research for the podcast.
Reporting for duty. I'm going to chime in quickly. I honestly didn't realise 5 Seconds of Summer were still, like, a group, and I'm going to get so much hate for that. But you know what,
Jack, you are.
Sorry.
You are going to get a lot of hate for that, but it's funny that you said that, so whatever. It's just funny. We got there in the morning at an undisclosed time, and it was, like, maybe 10 a.m., I think, and the girl sitting next to me was like, people started queuing for the 5 Seconds of Summer show, and I'm like, what? Isn't that tomorrow? It's 10 a.m. today. Like, not tomorrow. So they got there at 10 a.m. and they were going to camp we're filming this now. The show hasn't even started yet, right? And I, like, went to a Maisie concert and did a whole day of work. And it's like, how do you do that? Like, literally, like, I don't get it. And it's, like, frustrating. And then I found out that these people doing this, they're not from Toronto. They don't, like, this isn't their, like, only show. Apparently, there's a group of people who are going to every single 5 Seconds of Summer show in America. And they are camping for like the night before in every show. And it's like, huh?
That it's insane.
And here's my opinion. I don't know how big this group is. I think if you're doing that and you're one person, and that's fine. Honest to God, I think it's fine. Because you're not taking away a spot from other people if you're one person, right? If you're 2 or 3 people even, right? Because it's like, what? The Five Sauce is playing big venues, which means there's usually a long barricade. So it's probably like 30 people. So if 3 people out of 30 have been at every show and are also at barricade, whatever, you know? I don't care. But it sounds like, from what I did some research on Twitter about, that this is like a large group and like people are upset about it. And I think that the big issue is that people who live in these cities will see people queuing at 10 a.m. the day before, and then they'll feel like they have to, or they'll feel like they have to get there that early to be barrier if that's what they really want. Like, if people started doing that for 5 seconds of summer, then like I just like, how are you literally like, I don't get how people do that. Like, do you I don't get it, especially in America. You want to know why? Because literally these American tours are always on tour buses, because it's almost impossible to get through shows without like sleeping while you're driving. So are these people sleeping? How are they getting between these places? Because like, it's probably at least a 6-hour drive in between each show, right?
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes they'll require flights. And obviously they have their 5 seconds of summer trucks driving in between, but they're truck drivers and they're not camping on the ground every night. You know? Like, I genuinely wonder how, I'm not against people going to multiple shows. And I am not against people queuing, because I think if you care enough to see an artist and you get there early, that's fine. I am against people making it a thing to be at like every single show and then like for clout or something. I'm assuming these people are like big 5 Seconds of Summer fans, but I disagree with like setting a standard for queuing like that, because it makes it awful for everyone else. And it's like, I saw this tweet and I'm kind of I really hate how concert culture is now. Unless you're able to spend multiple days sleeping on a street or cut and lie about being ADA like you freaks, you're never going to experience Barricade. Last night, Five Sauce groaned when they heard how many people were returning the next day. They don't like y'all. Which is crazy. I never expected that the artist would like be upset about it, because like sometimes I think that artists like when they see familiar faces on tour, honestly.
I wonder if part of it comes from them just wanting, like, I don't know, I feel like, see, if every single show you do, you see the same like group of people at Barricade, you're like, surely just being like, go and just let someone else have a turn. I don't know. Because it is usually, you would think that, but there obviously must be. Like, again, I'm gonna hate. I don't know how big 5 Seconds of Summer are in terms of like how many shows they're doing, or like the or anything like that. So it's, if these are going to like, say like over 20 shows or whatever, like, I imagine looking out every single show and being like, okay, it being cool for the first couple of times, it being like, oh, they're like really supportive, and it's not that you don't care, but like, surely you just want to see like a different face at Barricade. I don't know, but like,
yeah, it might be that. And I just found, I remember seeing a tweet with the number, and I just found it, and apparently this group is going to over 10 shows, and there's 25 of them going to every single one of those 10 shows.
That's full Barricade, pretty much.
That's full Barricade every night, essentially. Like I said, I think if it's 3 or 4 people and you're like really big fans of the artist, I don't think it's a big deal. But like, to take up the full Barricade every single night is ridiculous. I don't know. I think you're right. I think, yeah, they probably get tired of it or something. And, like, though apparently those people are, like, entitled and act like they own the queue and everything. And for me, it's like, if I queue for a venue, like, if I ever have to queue overnight for Maisie, I'm not doing it. It's like what I said. Like, I'm just not doing it. And I hate this because I don't want to ever have to queue overnight for Maisie. But, like, I worry that there'll be a day that I will. And I don't want to do that. And
That's the way things are
I
going.
think it's awful. And I think, I mean, people are going to camp out for weeks for Taylor probably, right? And like, I mean, like I said, like I don't have a standing ticket, but if I did, I would probably just accept that I'll be at the back and I'll dance.
Like,
cause
that's why we had to get front standing tickets for the second night in Edinburgh, because like the person I'm going with, we obviously both have jobs, and like we can't like, I'm going to like be having enough time off that month, so like I can't like go too early. And even if you get there early, it's like, how early do you need to get there to even like make it worth queuing? And like, I love
right,
Taylor,
like,
but it is like,
it's like
lot.
if you get there at like maybe the venue will have rules, like, so I heard something happened at Five Sauce at a show, that the venue had a rule that camping starts at 8 a.m. of the day of the show. And so some people camped in the parking lot, and then they started numbering people themselves. I think that group. And then someone got there at 8 and like got to the actual line before them, and they were all mad that they cut everyone else. And this person was like, I didn't do anything wrong. I showed up when the venue said we could. And I got in the line first, so therefore I am first. And you're mad at me. Like,
that's horrible.
You're mad at me because I didn't follow your system. Like, I was there first. I honestly think you should follow the venue rules. So I'm hoping for Taylor, like, they have rules that like queuing starts at 8 a.m. because then, you know, like, okay, I'm gonna take the whole day off of work and I'm gonna get there at 8 a.m. and I'll be one of the first people there, you know. But like, if you get there like, you know, 6 hours before the show and queue up, it's like you're just wasting that time that you could be like getting merch and like feeling excited and doing, because like Taylor shows are about that too, right? And you shouldn't have to feel like you're just queuing and like ruining that experience as well. And I think I don't think if you're at the back of floor for a Taylor tour, like, you're not gonna have a bad time. So
you're gonna have the best time no matter what. But it's like,
so
that
I
whole
like
thing of,
I don't
like,
think it
wasting
matters.
your whole day to like to get to a place where you would have been anyway if you like didn't wait that long. But there is, I don't know, I've definitely been in that place where I've been to a concert and like I know there's pretty much no point in me trying to even get there because the people will be there and like be at the front and stuff. But like, so that must be really annoying for 5 seconds of summer fans, where you pretty much are like, well, there's no point in me even trying to queue because it's going to be the same people. And if there's people that are going to different ones but can't be there as early or anything, they're like, it must be frustrating because they're going to be there at multiple shows and going to be in the same situation, because it's like you can't get even close to barricade, or there's no point in trying because they're already going to have it all like thingied up anyway. So I don't know, it's really frustrating because it's just going to get worse. It's not going to get better. Like, this isn't going to change unless venues start being really strict with like rules. Like, there's nothing that's going to change it. Like, ever since COVID, it's gotten worse and worse. It takes the fun out of concerts, genuinely. And I don't know.
I agree. I just hope it changes, but we'll see. We'll see what happens for Taylor. We'll probably talk about it when it happens. Last couple short things. Taylor announced more American dates and Canadian dates. Yay, Canada.
Yay.
31 million people signed up for the pre-sale in Toronto, which is the most so far. And it's because I am upset as a Toronto living person that my hometown show wasn't announced with the original American dates and didn't happen this summer. Because if it was announced with the original American dates, not nearly as many people would have signed up, first of all. Second of all of the people trying to come from America wouldn't have signed up because they would have their own shows, right?
Yeah.
And now people who have gone in America to American shows, I mean, I've gone in America, I'm going in London, are signing up for this. And I would not have gone to Detroit if Taylor was coming to London. So it would have been a win-win for everyone. If Taylor was coming to Toronto, if I knew Taylor was coming to Toronto and she was coming this summer in this tour, like, I would not have gone to Detroit.
Yeah.
So it would have been a win-win. That spot would have been for someone else, and I would have gotten a ticket here. And I know plenty of people who live in Toronto who went to America to see Taylor, assuming that she wasn't coming here for tour, and now she is coming here for tour, so they're going to go again. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm going to go again too.
Yeah.
I don't see it. There's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with Americans coming. I just want to be very clear. But that doesn't mean I can't be upset that it wasn't done in a certain way. And now there's rumors that there's going to be a Vancouver show, or there's going to be like more West Coast dates announced later. And it's like, people from the West Coast have bought tickets for Toronto. Yeah. And now they're going to go in the West Coast and Toronto because they already have tickets, so they might as well, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, if she just announced at the same time, then like, maybe the people who live on the West Coast of Canada wouldn't be planning to come to Toronto, and they would be literally like staying closer to where they are. And like, it's just frustrating. And I wish that tour dates were announced I hate how this tour is going to 2025. I'm going to be like frank. I don't want a tour to last for 3 years. Like, it's going to get boring eventually. And we like Taylor to be exciting, releasing re-recordings and new albums, and we've gotten used to that since COVID, with like how rapidly we've been getting new stuff.
Yeah. And
for her to do a 3-year-long tour, it's just to me, it's just like, does Taylor want to do it for 3 years? Like, I feel like she's gonna get bored of that too.
Well, part of me feels like she really not hated Rep Tour, but she hated how far she was pushed on Rep Tour, and she's like kind of said that. But like, this is like 3 times what Rep Tour was, right? Like
in terms of dates and everything. Yeah. And like, I honestly like thought when the London, like when all of the like Europe and Australia and Asia dates were announced, that like that was it.
Yeah.
Like, those are the dates, right? Because we obviously knew those international dates were coming, and then like, she had literally covered everywhere in the world. She'd gone to North America, South America, Australia, like Asia, Europe. Yeah. That's it. Like, she's gone to all the continents other than that she usually tours in, right? And I think it's just like crazy for me to add more dates and then release the dates, like, instead of in one announcement, like to do she's essentially going to be doing a second American leg of the tour at the end of 2024, and then but then also be releasing the dates to that, like, not at one time. It's like if she announced UK dates and then 3 weeks later announced European dates, all the Europeans would have already gotten UK tickets, and British people would be upset, right? And be like, now they have tickets to these shows, and that shows when I can get tickets where I live, and I have to, like, that's exactly how, like, I feel right now. And it sucks, but it is what it is, and I'm excited that she's coming to Toronto, so that's okay.
Yeah, that'll be so fun. I don't know. I said how I wanted to travel to Toronto, but I'm just so glad that I literally on Twitter the day of tickets, like, of like finding out if you're waitlisted or not, the amount of like Canadians that were like coming out and being like, oh, I got waitlisted, it was horrible to see. So I'm just glad that I've seen like some success from people that actually will like deserve to be going. Not that nobody deserves to be going, but like that actually are from like Canada and stuff. Like, it is nice to see, because there was so many that were waitlisted and it was really horrible to see. But no, that'll be fun.
And then our last topic is Taylor still hasn't posted on Instagram about LA.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I've seen a couple theories, but I just don't get, like, when it's kind of been like the weekend. It's been like a day or two after the show she's posted something, right? Like every single week or every single weekend or like after the shows. So it's really strange to see why she's not posted anything. And she has got a post saved and scheduled, but we just don't know what it is.
And she didn't post a blurb for 1989.
Yeah.
And I saw this theory online that there was like 2 1989s in the Capital One ad. You remember that ad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? I remember that ad, and apparently there were 2 1989s in that ad. I'm reading this off a tweet, and it could be fake, so I didn't actually go and watch the ad to double check. But some people are saying that because 1989 had 150 tracks originally, and she only put 5 vault tracks on the album, it's a bit suspicious. And so they're saying that we might be getting a second album with just 1989 vault tracks. As like, because there were 2 1989s in it. And I'm like, I would love that, but like, maybe that's a little bit delusional, but also like, I would love that.
Oh yeah, I'd love it, but surely she would just do like a deluxe. And not just like a two
albums. Like, yeah, a deluxe would make more sense, because then you're essentially splitting the album sales in 2, which is stupid.
Yeah, because they won't.
So
even
maybe the
class
announcement
as the same. Like, even if it is named the same, they won't class as the same sales.
So maybe the announcement is a deluxe. I don't know.
I really don't like this marketing technique where they make people buy one version of the album and then they release the deluxe either before it's even out or like down the line. It's fine, but like before it's even out is crazy. But it does make sense because there's five vault tracks. We thought there was going to be more. The Kendrick Lamar version of Bad Blood isn't on it because it doesn't line up with the track, like with how much tracks we're getting, which is insane because Kendrick Lamar's version is sung at the Eras tour every single weekend.
I don't get it, and I don't get it at all. Like, it makes no sense to me, and I don't get it at all. I don't know what to say. I just don't get it. And we're gonna find out, and you know what? Taylor will probably post tomorrow, and we're gonna be like, oh, great, now this podcast's out of date. Anyway, guys can let us know in the comments what happened, because we all know.
Yeah, she's got something scheduled, so it might even just be the LA post, and we might be just
nothing. We might
delusional.
be clowning.
But it is just very strange that Bad Blood featuring Kendrick Lamar isn't on the normal one, and we're only getting 5 vault tracks. It's a wee bit strange. Like, I don't know.
We'll see. Anyway, I think that is it for this week. Thank you guys for listening all the way through. And if you haven't, make sure to watch our 1989 reaction video. It's very fun, and it is much shorter than a podcast, so do not worry.
And just because we've not got any posts from Taylor doesn't mean that we've not been posting. So check out our TikTok, and we actually haven't been posting. My keyboard broke, and I'm fixing it, and then I can edit more clips. But TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everybody, I don't know, Music Shack Podcast or Music Shack on all respective platforms. And then if you're listening as well, please come over and check out the YouTube exclusive 1989 TV. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, guys. And I'm going to send Jack a bunch of Maisie videos to post on TikTok, so you can go watch those.
Yeah, go watch them. Music Shack. I think it's just Music Shack. I'm really bad. I don't know. But yeah.
Link in the description.
Yeah, go there because I can't remember. I can't remember apparently. But thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.